is time for sketches. Alright, let me get my stuff pulled up. Let's get a screen grab in here. Alright. So we just took a look at Transistor by Supergiant Games, and I know that at PAX South we did see a few reds. I have a bamboo tablet, and I am using Clip Studio Paint Pro, also known as Manga Studio. It is a pay program, but it's not that expensive. If you don't have imaging or drawing software like this, you can get GIMP for free. It's pretty good. So let's see. Alright. So let's look at what we know about. Nope. Let's get that bigger. And get a more appropriate color. So we got red and the Transistor sword. So Volpin props when he made his sword, it was incredible, but he has the experience and the resources, and it was a commission by Supergiant Games, so don't feel like you have to go that crazy with materials. I mean, also if you haven't made something like that before, you don't need to go quite that technical at first. I'm going to pull up some images. So the first thing to do anytime you're cosplaying, get your references in order. A simple Google image search will give you a lot. A lot of it will be similar, but it's still useful to you. Because a lot of these people, they do study the character, and they do study the different outfits. So it's worth it to look at the fan art, to investigate, all the different official images as well. Let's see. That one's pretty good. Oh, she's wearing his coat. Oh, that is sweet. That's why it's so big. So when you're cosplaying, there's no one way to cosplay. The way I see it, there's a bunch of different things you can do. You can go for 100% accurate. You can do inspired, which is what I really like inspired. Casual cosplay. Casual cosplay, I didn't even spell that right. There's no T in casual. Casual cosplay is more comfortable. It looks more like real clothes, but people who know. Inspired cosplay is taking something you like about a character and adapting it so that elements are still recognizable, but it's not 100% accurate, for example, for characters that are just impossible. I did inspired cosplay for Portal. I did Portal Prom. And what else did we do inspired for? So I did GLaDOS, Test Subject, and Companion Cube. Accurate, inspired, casual, you can also do gender swap. Kids cosplay. Kids cosplay, you have to be really careful because they're not going to put up with a lot depending on how old they are. Now, preteen, teenager, they'll put up with a lot more, especially if they love what they're wearing. But little kids, they don't really know. So you want to make sure that it's simple, comfortable, it breathes, and it's easy to take off. Accurate, inspired, casual, and so inspired and this kind of ties in. I like to do these two together. Kind of something a little bit different. So 100% accurate, that's, you know, kind of obvious as to what that is. You're replicating the character as much as you can. You want to get all those little details right. You're going to spend a ton of time sketching, first off. You are going to make a lot of mock-ups, and you're going to do a lot of research into materials and techniques. So for red, one of the hard things about red is going to be that striping and the layering on the skirt. So two things that are going to be a little bit difficult about red. Okay, never mind. Compared to the feather collar, those are easy. So I like to start with sketches. Huh? Oh, you're not talking to me. Sorry. So what we've got here, we have a low-cut V. We have a corset, an underbust corset, straight across the top. Or at least that's what I would use, just to get more shape. I'm a big fan of corsets. And it is pretty straight across, but not exactly straight across. It's got a little bit of a point right there in the big triangle. So if you're going to do a corset, something to consider is if you're putting a seam, if you're putting an opening down the front, down the middle, or if you're going to have it just be one thing and you're going to slide it on. She's got a little skirt, which is all torn up on the bottom. Important detail right there. It's not straight along the bottom of that skirt. And in addition to that, that skirt is kind of doing this flower petal thing, which I know I've seen on shows like Project Runway. I'm sure you can find a tutorial for this, or at least find an example of it that you can adapt. But this looks like a fussy skirt that might end up being a bit of a pain in the ass, especially as far as fit is concerned. I might consider using something like a two-way stretch jersey, so it stretches this way but not this way. That way you've got room for your legs to move, and so you can sit down comfortably, but it's not going to stretch long ways. You don't want to lose your shape. Also, jersey doesn't fray. So plus or minus, you could do the, cut up the bottom to look all jagged with a jersey, and it won't shred. But if you want it to look more torn, then you might need to go with something else. With how fancy your outfit is, it could be a satin or a taffeta. I imagine it would be a silk, but silk's expensive, so that's what I would use. And then, so we've got little stripies here. If you're not comfortable with it, so if you're not comfortable with something on a character design, she got these high boots, and I think she has like gold heels. So as far as the high boots are concerned, you don't necessarily need to get thigh highs, or it's stockings. Looking closer, I think it's stockings. Let's get some thigh-high stockings. If you're afraid they won't stand up, you can get garters. Or you can do something where basically you're layering two stockings on top of each other and attaching them. So get like nude stockings underneath that go all the way up, and then attach your thigh-high socks to them. I know I'm one of those people who thigh-highs never stay up. So I would probably opt for garters. It's more appropriate for the style. And you can just buy them. And then we have a giant men's coat. It's not a dress coat. It's not a suit coat. It's something a little bit more workman than that. So that's huge and oversized. And one of the important details for that coat is you want to make sure that the sleeve seams are like way down here. You don't want them up here. You want them down there to emphasize how big it is. If you are making the coat yourself, don't make a whole sleeve. You can look into anime cosplayers. I know that a lot of times they'll have like bubble pant things. Like, yeah, they got little frills down there, but it's like this little underskirt thing, and I can't remember what it's called. Bloomers. Look into something like that to get an idea for how to make these big rolled up sleeves, but I wouldn't bother making the whole sleeve and then rolling it. That's going to give you a lot of extra material that you don't necessarily need. Renaissance jacket. I might also look more into like old style like sailors coats. Or great coats. Hi there, Two Bears. How are you doing this evening? She has no gloves, but she does have attached to the dress this big feathery collar, which that might end up being the biggest pain in the butt. So as far as materials we're looking at, like maybe a silk jersey.
Also going red. Guys, red.
I think I spelled that wrong. Too many T's. Oh, good for you, Two Bears. Oh, sorry. I'm not sure what's going on with the link stuff. For the corset, no stretch. No stretch on that corset material. It's not gonna work properly. I would go probably for a straight up satin for the corset, backed by something sturdier like cotton or I think it's Cotil. You can find a lot of tutorials for this on Victorian Steampunk Renaissance Military Asymmetry. There we go. Kind of. That's kind of what we're looking at, but definitely the men's version. I guess more like that. So the image I'm looking at is this one. And don't stick to just one image. You want to make sure you get a variety. Let me see. But yeah, in general, everyone seems to agree that this coat is fairly long. Oh, except for this one. There we go. That's a better idea. So it looks like we've got the coat probably coming down to about here. So I'm not sketching my next costume. This is my new series, Cosplay Hunt, where we're taking a look at a game and then kind of discussing all the different ways you can cosplay from that game. I don't have time to do all these costumes. And I've seen a lot of very good reds. I don't know that I would add myself to their number. Oh, I think I mentioned earlier, I started talking about and then got sidetracked. If you're not comfortable with an aspect of a character's design, change it. You should be comfortable with what you're wearing, and don't force yourself to wear something that just doesn't work for you. So for Red, she has this super low V-neck. It goes all the way down to the base of her sternum. You could always bring that up to here if you wanted, or you could add in a panel, maybe some lace, to help cover yourself up a bit. For the skirt, if you don't like it, like some people are going to do it really high. If you don't like it that high, bring it down to a length where you're comfortable. Or you could always do the other version of Red before she loses her voice and make that a whole dress. In which case you would not need the coat. But you could make that whole dress instead if you're not comfortable with the length of this skirt. Sorry about that. Let me see. Copy image. Nope. Ah! I'll put that up there. So yeah, materials for the coat. That would probably end up, yes, apply that. The coat would probably end up being some kind of a wool. And don't forget the big brass buttons. Alright, is that better, Ghost Eye? Now, what else do we have here? This collar. I know that, I think it was God Save the Queen Studios, or God Save the Queen Costumes, she made this for Vulpin Props' wife. I believe that she made the collar detachable. That sounds like a really good idea to me. You could attach it using snaps or Velcro, but actually, thinking about this, the way that this top is made, you've got the V, got the dress. Chances are this dress is actually backless and it's a halter. And then you could just attach the collar onto that halter. The problem would be making it. You would want to back it with something sturdy that will stand up. What would do that? All I can think of is foam right now, but I know if you look into Maleficent horns, how to make the Maleficent helm. No, because the collar is not attached to the coat. It is attached to the dress, and my concern with attaching it to the coat is that then you couldn't take the coat off, and it's so big it could end up slipping, and it might damage the collar by slipping that way. So that's my thinking. All I can think is foam, but I know there's some sort of material. If you look into how to make a fascinator hat, fascinator hat, or like Maleficent horns. Then I know that I saw on, what's it called? It's not, the people who do Man vs. Pin, Corinne, from that duo, she has something on her channel where she makes like Maleficent horns. She makes a little hat thing, and I can't remember what the material she used is called, but that it stiffens up really well. No, it's not fur though, it's feathers. That's part of why it's such a big pain in the ass, because you need to get a big bag of feathers and attach it to the collar. It's just not fur. You could probably get like something online that maybe resembles like the structure of feathers and put that as a base and then just stick feathers into it, so you don't need to use quite so many. But it is feathers. It's not quite fur. See the feathers right here? And that goes into the whole theme with the little white birds that were everywhere that we kept scaring. That's where that ties in. Don't worry too much about color contacts if you just can't wear them. I'm one of those people who can't. My eyesight is really bad, and most color contacts that cosplayers use don't come in prescription. And I have tried color contacts, and my eyes did not take to them very well. So don't worry so much about eye color if you just can't do it. It's not that big a deal. But that wig is important. And I hate doing wigs because I'm terrible at hair. But you want to make sure you get that candy apple red hair. Arda Wigs is great. I know cosplay.com, they have a wig store. I wouldn't necessarily recommend going just onto Amazon, but if you're on a big budget or on a small budget, you can. That's where I got my emergency wig when I ruined my Ashling wig. So you do have options for wigs, but Arda does have some pretty great ones. Really thick hair, and they do have some great tutorials too. One thing that I learned from them is there's these little like headband things that you can get where it's like zigzaggies. They used to be big when I was in like middle school. You can get one of those, sew it into the front of your wig and just cut off the excess, and it sticks really well. It keeps your wig from slipping backwards because a lot of wigs do that, even if they're not really that heavy. So that's something to think about. Alright, so that's kind of the 100% what you would do. As far as heels go, if you're not comfortable wearing heels, get a pair of gold flats. I know that I've seen recommended if you can't find gold shoes, look into florist paint, what they use to paint onto like fake flowers and stuff. I hear that's great for coloring things that need to be flexible like shoes. Or you can make shoe covers. There's a lot of tutorials for that too. Alright, so let's keep that up. Oh, nope. I started drawing on the wrong thing. Alright, so for inspired cosplay, in this case the inspired is a bit harder because you do have already that elegant dress. If you don't go with the gameplay version of Red, you do already have that beautiful dress, which would be, as we already kind of saw, this kind of like mermaid trumpet skirt look with the corset, the low V, and I'm assuming it's a halter with the feathered collar, and this whole pain in the butt pedaling thing, which would go all the way down. I wouldn't recommend adding a train. No train. Because if you're going to a convention, people are going to step on it. If you're going to more of like a masquerade type thing, or I know that I've seen a lot of different kind of like fancy masquerade type things, then you could consider getting a train or putting in a train, but for a convention, you're going to get stepped on. So if you wanted to do something inspired but didn't really want to go quite so difficult, if you just want to be reminiscent of it, I'm a fan of little dresses, so I would stick with that corset. Yeah, helps to draw out a figure. I'd stick with that corset there. And then, because I'm not quite so comfortable with the low V, I would probably move it up and then keep those stripes. Make sure you line your stripes up nicely. It makes a big difference. And then, because it's me, I'd probably just go with a flowy skirt. Or no, not a flowy skirt. Pencil skirt. That's more fitting with it. Pencil skirt and just some nice gold shoes. And probably a couple little feathers in the hair is what I'd go with if you just don't want to deal with that feathered collar. So this could pass for both inspired and casual. Not something that you're going to be wearing every day, but if you want to dress up a little bit but like having a little bit of cosplay in your everyday stuff, this is something that you could do. As far as elegant, again, you kind of got what you've got there. Otherwise, stick with the halter. If you don't want to do a full corset, then I would suggest putting in a red belt, either out of the Empire waist, if that works for you, and then a little dress, or a little bit lower, like around the waist here, and then again, got your little dress there. But that's kind of stretching it a bit. I think that this version would be the easiest and just kind of the most similar thing to do for an inspired cosplay. The important things to do about inspired cosplays, you want to consider color, you want to consider silhouette, and you want to figure out what is important to the outfit. So in this case, the importance of the silhouette is that it is tight around the legs and the thighs. She does have the black corset, and she does have the stripes around the top. That's why you want to keep those, and then just adjust them to what works for you, either within your skill set or within whatever's comfortable for you. And those little feathers are just a cute detail. Why do I keep hitting that? Let's see, gender swap. So for a gender swapped red, the best way to get better at drawing is to keep drawing. That's kind of the thing I'm bad at, but the more you draw, the better you'll get. Find an artist who inspires you and copy them. The more you look at what they're doing and the more you try to emulate them, the more you'll figure out what works for you, and then you'll develop your own style from there. There are also a ton of books that you can get on drawing. You want to study the human form. Take a sketchbook with you. If you're sitting on a bus, if you're sitting on a train, sketch. If you're in class and you're bored, draw the people in front of you, draw the teacher. You just don't even need to do anything real detailed. I mean, you keep seeing me do, I've got my little stance here. From this, you can see that it's a person. You can see that it's a woman. You can see the way she's standing. Even getting familiar with basic shapes like that is going to help you. Don't go for 100% realism right away, but work towards it. Or at least, like I said, find someone who inspires you. Work towards what they're doing. I know there's a lot of creative people on Twitch who do stream drawing. Watch them. See what they do. The hard part for me is the coloring. I always get all tied up in that and never quite know where to go. Again, it's that ugly phase that cosplay hits. Drawing hits that too, and I always get stuck in that ugly phase of coloring, and I'm just like, nope, I'm done. Now, where was I? We weren't even doing a lady this time. Alright, so gender swap cosplay. So if we wanted to do a gender swapped red, what would we do? I would say go a bit dapper, get a vest, make a vest. I know Joanne's has tutorials for that. Stripy material. And I would say black buttons. I think that would be a nice contrast. Button-down shirt, maybe not all the way buttoned, and I would go with a tie, and I would stick that triangle on that tie as like a pin maybe. And of course, black tie. Maybe a black shirt. Just keep trying to put it onto paper. You're never going to get anywhere if you don't try. Alright, I'd probably stick with black pants. You could go gold shoes if you wanted. But for me, I'd probably keep it black all the way down. And then, that collar. That collar is tricky because it is important. It is important to her character because it fits in with those birds and the freedom that she does represent, the resistance that she does represent. Gold bell bottoms? Yeah, you could do that too. Hell, you could just put in the collar here on the vest. Go a bit ostentatious. And then decide if you want to have the coat or if you're just going to go with your shirt sleeves. Just remember that coat is more of a workman's coat. It's not a suit coat as far as I can tell. With big brass buttons. And I'd say you'd probably make it fit better on a man, but still roll those sleeves up. The yellow comes into the vest. You want that to be very bright gold, and I would say a pin or something on the tie to get that triangle in there. Or, as Ghost Eye said, gold bell bottoms. And of course you would want to make sure you've got that red hair. Let's see. So, kind of the red going on up here. We've got kind of a black down here. I would say you've got your black tie and possibly your black shirt. And then gold vest. Gold pin. Oop, that didn't go gold at all. Some sort of a gold pin there. There we go. And then the coat is mostly black, but I would say you could actually go also a little bit into like a gray blue. Just to have a bit of contrast there. Yep, got the gold. And then gold buttons. And then, of course, as I pointed out, you do have also the feathers here. So for me, that would be... Oh, well, thank you, Blue Battlehawk. I appreciate that. Thank you for sticking around with me, by the way. So that would be my gender bent red. More simple, but still elegant, because, you know, she was wearing a fancy dress. She was a well-dressed woman before, you know, before she was attacked. I'm not entirely sure how you would fit in the jaggedness of, you know, of her skirt. I think that it's not that important for a gender bend. You would want to make sure you get your vest well tailored, that the colors are correct, and that you get that collar and that wig. So there we go. We got a gender bent red. Now, kids cosplay. As I said, kids are difficult. Kids are really difficult. What am I on? So, I'm going to do a little girl just because Red's a girl. Oh, I just remembered why I wanted to do Transistor. I got another sketch for you guys in a little bit. So kids aren't going to put up with a lot. They're not going to put up with a wig. They're not going to put up with those feathers. So I would again go with just like little feather hair clip. I would say a more simple kind of a dress. You can go with a little V right there. I'm going to say tank top just because it's easier to make on your own. An empire waist, triangle. And get some stripies in there. And a little dress. I would say maybe leggings or tights and just little gold shoes. I wouldn't worry so much about the jacket. They're probably going to get hot. But if you did have to get a jacket for a kid's cosplay, I would... Honestly, something you can do for the jacket is go to Goodwill, see if there's something there you can adapt, and that's for the adult versions too. I wouldn't worry about the jacket for a kid's cosplay. They're not going to put up with that. And you could always make just a little sword out of foam, something lightweight. Nothing heavy. Nothing heavy for a kid's cosplay, and be prepared to carry it around. Chances are they're going to lose it somewhere, or just get tired of carrying it. Alright. So that would be my kids' cosplay. Again, really simple. I would use jersey or cotton. Jersey because it stretches. Cotton because it breathes. And those are both really important, especially as far as kids are concerned.
The cat did it twice in a row. That's too predictable for a cat.
Sorry, he's raiding. For a little boy to do a red, I would go off of the gender swap one. Get them, I'd say for a little boy, again, just some black pants, black shoes, make a little vest, and a t-shirt. T-shirts so they're comfortable, black pants, black shoes, easy to get, And so the only thing you would have to really worry about for the boys is the vest. I don't know that I'd worry about feathers for a boy if they wanted to cosplay Red. Let's see. Elegant is kind of already covered. So, I did have kind of a... yeah, the little boy would probably rather be wearing a Goku costume, but I wanted to be inclusive. But yeah, they're not going to want to... They're likely not going to want to cosplay Red. Can't speak for everyone. And if they want to, well, no, they got an idea. So, one thing that I was interested in taking a look at is the sword. And how you could cosplay the sword. So I had an idea for it earlier. Let's see if it stuck. So this is where inspired cosplay fits in. I'm gonna make him a guy because the sword is a guy. Okay. How would we do this? So the important things for the sword is you've got the lines in the circles, you've got the gold accents, and you've got the big red eye. So what I would probably do is what I was thinking earlier. God, I lost my train of thought. I think I was thinking something more like a tabard, kind of a tunic thing. Let's do a couple different versions. So if you wanted to be the sword, maybe in a sillier way, a simpler way, make kind of a tunic. I would say probably wear white or black pants. Get that big eyeball right there. Yep, big eye right there, got your red circle. And then paint or use like bias tape or applique to get these designs on there. And if you wanted to be really silly about it, like, I don't know. Here, get the triangle in here. If you wanted to be stupid, you could make yourself a hilt hat. You got the gold, you got the red. You could be the sword. Let's get a little color in there. What have I done? We got the red. We've got gold. And I also got some gold up here. A little bit of, well, that didn't work. A little bit of blue. And a bit of red. And then it looks like there's also kind of a gray involved as well. I'd say white or black underneath. So, sword. Tunic version. With stupid hat. So that's one way you could cosplay the sword. It would just fit right over you, just like a tunic. You wouldn't need to really shape it to yourself or anything like that. It's just meant to look like the sword. In which case, also, this would probably come up more like here. Now, for a more, excuse me, like dapper version, more inspired, let's see, what would we do? Let's see. Let's draw our guy again. So for most of my cosplays, I spend like a month sketching. All the different angles, all the different pieces, different ways we could do it, brainstorming what materials we could use, what techniques we could use, who to look up, what we need to search for. Trying to find different solutions. Don't be afraid. If you have the time, take that time. You never know what you're going to figure out. And sorry about my lame guy. I typically just do lady sketches. Arms out there. So for something more along the lines of this version, I like vests. I'm a huge fan of vests. Hi there, Jacob. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing this evening? So again, I would go with a vest. I would probably... Now the thing here is that red eye. I'm inclined to say that I might just do a red tie there. Like if you're just going very loosely inspired by the sword. I would say blue vest, red tie. I like black. I like black shirts. Oh, you're working on cosplay? What are you cosplaying, Jacob? Gold buttons. If you wanted to have a bit of fun, I'd say some sort of stripes on the pants. Or you could even... Ooh, okay, this might need to take some color. This might take some color. That gold, though. Those gold details. Oh, got maybe a button-down shirt with some gold buttons. Or the gray. You could work in that gray from the hilt. Ooh, a leaf man. What's that from? Just use face paint. I am not a fan of face paint. I am way too lazy to try using that. Alright, I'll color this in just a minute. I'm thinking. And I'm sorry, this guy sounds like the kind of person who'd have a fedora. Not that I can draw a fedora. I'm just gonna... There, fedora. That is now a fedora. Let's get that blue back. So I was saying, I think blue vest. be like a dark gray shirt. Oh, that failed. And then dark gray or black pants. Oh, from Epic! Oh, a Leaf Man. I get it now. I saw that movie. I hope your cosplay is coming along nicely. Is this your first cosplay, Jacob? I said red tie for this. For what I'm thinking right now, yeah, I think a red tie helps change the color to actually red. Gold bell bottoms again, Ghost Eye. You're a big fan of those gold bell bottoms. Yeah, I'd say red tie. Ooh, you know what could be nice? Let's go with that. And a red ribbon right there. And then maybe like a gold button. And I would say get some like foam details on here, just like going over the shoulders. Possibly attach the shirt as well to help bring it more into the realm of cosplay. Like, because cosplay is not typically normal, so you can do what you want with it. And the sword does have these kinds of details. Some gold buttons. And then let's see. So you would want to bring these circle details into this. I might need to go bigger. I think I went too early on the gold. Too early on the gold. There we go. Can I get this in here? Can't really see it. So like bring in to the design on the vest those details that are along the body of the sword. The circles and the lines. So that'll be like the really time-consuming version of this vest, or you know, what will take a lot of time. And if you wanted, you could also bring those into the pants as well. I'm just drawing stuff down here. Either lighter or darker. And again, got the gold buttons right there. So I would say that would be kind of like my human version of the sword. That's probably what I'd make for my husband right there. If you wanted to do like a couple's cosplay, and you know, pretty much there's only red. You could be red, you could be a bad guy, but come on, red and that sword. That's what I would choose for a couple's cosplay. That's what I would want to cosplay with my husband. And this version right here, that one right there, is probably more along the lines of what I would make for him. It's got the elements of the sword, the important details such as the color. You've got that red. It's not the big red circular eye. If you wanted to, you could probably work that into the design of the vest here. Oh, that's not black. So kind of on two sides. You would want to make sure you line it up properly. Or in this case, maybe don't have the buttons on top. You could do kind of like an invisible button or a hook and eye thing underneath. Get that eyeball in there. And then you can work in the other details from there.
Split.
But you would want to adapt them so you can actually see them, sort of. Oh, did I just do that in the wrong layer? I did just do that on the wrong layer. Well, that's why we make a new one. Let's get that eyeball back. And what else? Got kind of the light. It doesn't want to get lighter. And if you guys have anything you'd like to add or that you think that you'd like to see me sketch as far as Red and Transistor cosplay, let me know. What? You can give me the name and tell me what they're on, if it's like Instagram or Tumblr or something like that, so that I can search for them later. I'd love to see what they do, whoever they may be. So that could be another version of the vest if you wanted to go more literal sword. What else? Girl version of the sword. Let's tackle that. So, for most of my inspired cosplays, I am a big fan of little dresses. It's just the way I am. This one went all wonky. So what would we have here? How would we do this? I'm thinking, you guys, I'm thinking. I am drawing a bit of a blank right now. I would say one thing right off the bat is probably some big gold bracelets. And some kind of a headpiece that really incorporates those stripes of gold. And because I think it'd be cute, a blue wig. Oh, this one's going all weird. Not a red wig. Oh, thank you, Blue Battlehawk. I'll take a look at it later. No red wig because that's Red's hair. I would say a blue wig in this light blue. Or if you want to be really shiny, go gold. Let's see. Then, this one's hard. I like the idea of kind of having the shoulder pieces up here to really capture this right there, if you can actually see where I am. The gold on the sides of the end of the sword. do that. And then, again, I'm a huge fan of corsets. I like what they do to the shape, to your silhouette, which can be nice in pictures, just get that little bit of extra waist. So I would probably do a corset. And I'd probably put that eye on that corset, similar to where Red's triangle is right now. I'd say that's probably where I would put the eye. And then I want to say maybe kind of a slit skirt. So that you can work in the details. This is getting a bit complicated. Or a bit convoluted in here. I'm gonna erase a little bit. And then probably black stockings or leggings and black shoes, because you don't want your feet to stand out when you're cosplaying a sword. And again, I'd apply these either with paint or with applique. I think gold edging on the corset. Only along the bottom though. No gold edging on the top. Because you've got the gold shoulder things at the moment. Well, what if we take those gold shoulder things away? Don't be afraid to scrap some part of the design. It could be it's holding you back. You don't know until you try it. Ooh. Gold choker. Okay, let's color this. So we've got kind of this blue color, which would end up being all through here. Let's see. I could zoom in over on this too. Got the blue color through there. That red on the eye. What am I doing there? Good night, Two Bears. My favorite game, I would say Portal and Portal 2. Just because it's great. Like I mentioned before, I've done like 3 different cosplays from Portal. We've made 3 different Portal guns for those different cosplays. I love Portal. I think that it was an amazing idea. I mean, there's only one human character. And it came out so long ago, and yet so many kids like it. so many people like it. It's a beloved game for so many reasons that I cannot articulate right now. So, Portal. I think that's my favorite game. What's your favorite game? Everyone in chat, what's your favorite game? Where was I? I was looking for a light blue. Go here. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. You raced people in Portal 2? I am not good enough to race. I am too uncoordinated. Let's see, we got blue right there, the light blue. And then, I can't decide if I would do like light blue up here in kind of a sheer or if I would do black. But let's get some of this gold in there. Dust and Elysian Tale. We started playing that. For some reason, we didn't finish it.
We needed a controller for that.
Oh, I know why. We didn't start it at a good time. That's why we didn't finish it. Maybe I'll revisit that at some point. A lot of Warframe. Yeah, Portal had a great sense of humor. I need to get those gold shoes in there. I think maybe a little bit of gold down here as well. And lining the edge of the skirt. That got very sloppy right there. Gold in here. Actually, let's save that for just a second. Because I forgot the blue wig. That's an entirely different blue. That's closer. And then I think some black elbow length opera gloves. Or not elbow length, upper arm gloves. And then, like I said, like black stockings. Let's get this all dark in here. Yeah, I can't decide that or black. Or even just nothing there. Could always just leave it at nothing right there. So that would be my female version of the sword. Pretty much. I don't know. I can't decide what to do about that area. But that's something that would probably end up getting figured out towards the end. Get that lined up there. So, the fact that I realized you could cosplay the sword is why I wanted to do Transistor today. Yeah, I like it. Again, for this, I'd probably use satins, and then paint on the designs, just because satin is fussy and you don't want to get it wet, so I'm not quite sure how applique would work if you have to iron it on. And I'm not sewing I'm not appliquing by hand, like sewing onto satin. Yeah. Ooh, you could also, I just realized, get that red circle in there. Because that red circle, that red is also on the hilt of the sword. There we go. Alright. So, we took a look at Transistor, we played for a bit, we talked about all the different ways that you can cosplay Red and the sword. I hope that you guys had fun. This was the very first Cosplay Hunt. I will be back again for Cosplay Hunt next Sunday at about 6 o'clock. I will also be back again tomorrow for Because It's Pretty, which is where I play games that I like because they're pretty. We might end up playing Transistor again because it's a beautiful game. I know, right? I am enjoying the look of that sword cosplay right now. I might end up having to do that. We'll see. I'll probably think about it for another month or two and then probably decide to do a suit of armor from something else instead, let's be honest. I'm into armor right now. But I might do this. I think she looks pretty cool. And I do like a simple wig that I don't have to style. By the way, you'll notice for any time I draw something that needs a wig that doesn't have an established hairstyle, it's gonna be that bob haircut because I hate styling wigs and I am no good with hair. So something I can get straight out of the box that fits, that's what I would do. A suit of armor as the sword. Ooh. Should we sketch that real quick?
Do it.
He cast his vote. Let's see. Getting a new layer here. So that sword as a suit of armor. I'm gonna do female armor because it would be me. Let's see. Suit of armor as the sword. So I'm gonna go. I would make boob plate because, as impractical as it is, it's fun to make. And then probably embed that red circle right there in the chest. Go for that kind of tunic tabard type thing. And again, it would be the understructure of the armor. For an undergarment, I would use a corset because I know for a fact armor, it does bulk you up. Getting that extra definition in the waist is a big deal for making female armor look really nice. Thanks for joining me, Blue Battlehawk. I hope you'll join me again some other time. And I hope you have a good evening. Let's see. Then we would get the design here. I am crap at drawing this design because I'm just like not really looking at it right now. So I'd get that cloth tabard in right there, and then all the connections of armor are the hard part. All of armor is the hard part. I would work a lot of those circles and those lines into just the general design of the armor. I'd probably use a lot of this gray color in there some gold detailing right along there. I'm not sure what I would do underneath the tabard. Not important at this point in time. Probably some kind of a neck guard thingy there. I would really want to do some more research in kind of Art Deco and all the shapes that go into that for the shoulders. Because that aesthetic is important. And I don't really know enough about it on my own right now to say anything about it with confidence. But because it's Art Deco, there would probably be a lot of details you could add in, like that bridge in one of those the drawn cutscenes, how everything was like all those little filigrees and the swirly bits. I would really work those into the detail of the armor. I'd keep the main points, like the blue, very clean. But in the armor itself, I would work in a lot of these lines and circles and probably some more swirly bits too, in a bit of gold to work to get that aesthetic, that look and feel of the game into the armor. That, I would say, would take a month of drawing to really work that out. Like on all of these bits here, lots of swirlies and filigrees. And then these 3 lines at the end of the sword are also a big deal. I would work those into as much as I possibly could. Actually, probably here too. That's probably what the shoulders would end up being. And then I think I do gold fingertips. The shoes, probably simple at the bottom on the toe, just because I don't like it when my feet look all big. Make a sword that represents red. Oh my god, you're gonna keep me sketching all night, aren't you, Ghost Eye? I don't know what I would do for the knee plates right now. Armor is hard. You want to make sure it all fits together. More swirly bits here. I don't know. I don't know about that right now. But now I'm going to be thinking about it. Jeez. Ooh, now I'm going to be thinking about it. Damn you, Ghost Eye. Damn you. This might end up being our next cosplay. I don't know. True. True. This is not an easy thing to sketch at, basically. How to do a suit of armor with a sword. It is not a simple thing to do. But I like the idea. I really do. Oh, geez, I look like a vampire on stream again, aren't I? I always do. And then for the sword, I would go either for a full helm, because the sword is basically a dead man, from what I can tell. He is a dead man. I wouldn't show the face. If I did show the face at all, it would just be from here down. I'd probably wear red lipstick just to bring that eye back into it. Or gold, or blue. Oh, damn, there's so much you could do. What would I do here? Helms are the hardest. Helms are so key to a design. Helms and shoulders. I don't know. I don't know that I could really make a definitive design for this right now. But I would say the things I'd focus most on are full helm, tabard, gold bands, the 3 gold band detail. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's the other thing that I said, like right to here, bring it down to there, so that all you could see would be the mouth. If I was doing armor for the sword for a man, though, full face helm, no mouth. And then 3 gold bands. Then I would say most gold details. On gray. And then filigree details in the gray. Berserk Griffith helm. The entire front has a red eye, so like a big cyclops.
Basically.
For a guy, probably. I think if I was doing this for you, that might be how I would do it. I'd then just have the body be all the blue, gray, and gold. But I think as a lady, I would want something that looks a bit less like a cyclops. Alright, so what am I looking? Berserk Griffith helm. Yeah. Something like that could be good too. I'm thinking more like the Issa helm I've got back there would probably be more what I would do, just because I love the lines of that helm. Berserk Griffith, huh? By the way, this is what I'm looking at right now for this Berserk Griffith helm. But I will say one thing I know about armor is that when you can't see any skin, it's impressive. It can be really intimidating. Full helm. So yeah. Oh, you won't be able to see it unless I paste it? I thought. Does it not just show up? I feel like it should. How weird. Oh, it's because it's just doing... Sorry. Computer is not working the way I feel like it should. So that is the Berserk Griffith helm. In case you didn't know what we were talking about and you don't feel like looking it up yourself, that is what Ghost Eye was mentioning might be a good idea to look at. Now those legs, though, I find those more interesting. Yeah, take off the jaw and just have it there. Yeah, I get it, I get it. I guess the deciding factor would be, deciding factors would be if you want to show your humanity or if you want to look more inhuman, and also if you want to put on any makeup. If you don't want to put on any makeup, I would go for a full face helm. If you're willing to put on at least half makeup, then that half helm could work. And for guys, I guess if you do cosplay makeup, again, it's the same thing. Like if you just do like your base, you know, maybe foundation, concealer, powder, just to help things even out for pictures. But if, you know, maybe you're self-conscious about your chin, maybe you don't think you have a strong enough chin, I'd go for the full helm, the full faceplate. But he got a nice jawline, you want to show it off? Half helm. Of course, now I need to think about an armor for red. Armor for red, huh? I don't know. I don't know that I can think about that right now. But let's see. I think so I'm gonna do female again just because I typically think first in cosplay about cosplay in terms of me and what I want to wear. So again, I'd go with boob plate. If you wanted to, you could do a boob window. She does have the V-neck, but I'm not so much a fan of that. Another corset to emphasize the waist. And yeah, I'd keep that big triangle right there, I think. And then work in some detail lines into the armor to follow that. Possibly kind of like a half skirt thing, all tattered at the bottom. The legs would be gold and black details. By the way, you may find anytime I'm trying to design armor, I'm going to cover up this area right there because it's hard to make armor there look good. And I'm self-conscious about my thighs. That's, for me, that's the two reasons why I'm often going to cover that up if I can. So I've got that triangle there. And then black and gold. I would probably work in kind of like metallic feathers into the shoulders. you know, have your normal armory gauntlet-y things, which I can't think of what I do right now. Again, black and gold though. And I would work the stripe details into the chest piece. And then again, kind of continue them down into the waist area. Possibly put another triangle in right there, or just work that triangle. To help cover up all that. I'm just not a big fan of boob windows in armor. And again, kind of the neck guard. And then something like a cape, I think. I think something like a cape with possibly gold buttons lining the edges might be what I would do there. And then, so we've got feathers. Now for red, for a woman cosplaying red, you could do a full faceplate again in blacks and golds if you wanted to, but this actually I would probably leave it open. So that you can see the eyes. I cannot doodle anymore. With some sort of open face helm. So really rough, but now I'm thinking about it and I don't know if I'll be able to stop thinking about it. So thank you, Ghost Eye. And yes, I keep ending up with disembodied heads. I don't know why. Alright. I think we're gonna call it good there. It's been about 3 hours. I'm ready for a break. You probably are too. So, this has been the first episode of Cosplay Hunt, where we play games and talk costumes. We took a look at Transistor. We looked at both red and the sword. We did 100% armor, or 100% cosplay. We looked at inspired, casual, gender swap kids. And we looked at how to cosplay the sword. Yep, we could do it. We could do it, and you never know, we might. I love armor. I really want to do armor for the next packs. So we are on the lookout for what we could possibly do. And something inspired like this, oh, I love it. My last brainchild was trying to figure out how to do basically a Battle Peach. Princess Peach inspired armor. I never quite managed to figure it out though, so that's sad. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Cosplay Hunt is going to be every Sunday at about either 6 or 7. Check Twitter for scheduling announcements. I do have work on Sundays, so it depends. I don't know what we'll be playing next time. I've got a big long list. If you have any suggestions for games that you'd like me to take a look at from a cosplay perspective, let me know. You can message me. You can let me know on Twitter. I'm obsessively checking it, so I will see it. And I will be back tomorrow for Because It's Pretty, where I play games that I like because they caught my eye. Epistory will eventually be featured on there, but I could not wait. I had to play that as soon as we got back from PAX South. We might continue playing Transistor tomorrow because it's a gorgeous game. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. Again, thank you, and I hope you have a good evening. Bye.